Welcome to Supernatural Saturdays here on the Bald Brad channel. If you're looking for the main show, the Bald Brad Show, well, folks, that is Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with a sprinkling of politics on Sunday. If you're wondering what Supernatural Saturdays is, well, it's where we take one day out of the week to hang out and dive into the paranormal, the unexplained, and the supernatural. If that's something you're into, well, hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us a short, sweet comment down below. Your help and support would be greatly appreciated. Well, we're not going to be looking at ghost videos. We're not going to be looking at the paranormal. And just like the lights behind me show, we're going to dive into UFOs and aliens here with Bob Lazar's story. We got about a 9-10 minute clip here, him describing how UFOs were found at crash sites and archaeological findings. I want to know what you think about this. If this is something you're really into, we could do more videos here. And what I would really like to do on Supernatural Saturdays is hear his entire story, which is almost 2 hours long. We can either live stream it, or I can do a pre-recording and we can watch it all together. I will also post a poll in the community tab. Make sure you fill that out and let me know what you think is good or bad in terms of doing something like that. Without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
I'm not into UFOs. I don't follow stories or,
Even after your experiences?
No, I'm fascinated with the technology, and it irks me like every night I go to sleep that, that it was my own doing, essentially, that prevented me from continuing on in the project. I mean, that to be on that cutting edge of technology is so alluring to me.
Right.
But by the same token, I don't really care that there's aliens or where they come from. I mean, the prize is the technology, and that's what I'm fascinated by. But so I don't listen to UFO stories and that sort of thing. But George Knapp is, he's the guy that has the contacts and tries to thread everything together. And what he recently told me is he found, I don't know, is either documentation or people that he spoke to. It's that the existence of this project, the project that I was on, it's something that they seem to take out every 8 or 10 years.
So that's a very specific memo, and this is actually, this is the first time I'll be very clear with people about it. It's a big topic of conversation right now. It's called the Wilson Memo. You can look it up. Admiral Wilson met with a scientist who's actually was featured in one of my films. Everybody has been debating whether or not this document of a conversation with a sitting admiral at the time is a real document. It's an actual conversation that happened, and this document is real. Everybody wants to know. The world is going crazy right now in the UFO world. I'll tell you straight up right now, I'm in the position to know, and it is a real document, that it is real. So the conversation you read in that conversation was had. I can't attest to every...
You're not being very clear.
Sure.
Please.
No problem. So there was a document that is circulating right now that is really big. It's going around everywhere. People are asking and wondering.
What is this document?
It's called the Wilson Memo, is how you can find it online. Or the Wilson Leak.
There it is. Jimmy's got it. The Wilson Memorandum. Use of human volunteers.
No.
Sure that was it. Yeah.
No, that's not it.
Okay.
Yeah. So Admiral Wilson meets with this scientist, and they have this discussion, oddly enough, at special projects at EG&G. And if I remember, the document is from 2001. I'm telling everybody right now, it's real. And we'll see. My history is pretty good with saying if something's real or not, right? So here we go. The document comes out. They meet at EG&G special projects. In 1989, they stumble into a problem. This happens. They put the technology away, and then they bring it back out and see if material science has caught up and if they can make any progress. So this document kind of talks about this process. The big thing I get from it, and a lot of it's vindicating to Bob, and one of the things it's vindicating, besides the EG&G thing, is that private industry, so this guy's an admiral, and he says, I found out about your SAP, your Special Access Program. I need to know about it. And he's going to a private part of industry, and he is denied access. And he says, I should be running this program. And they were able to deny him access. So I think the takeaway here is, check it out. I'm telling you that is an actual correct. That is.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if that is the private sector, I mean, why would you want like a government official or an admiral or somebody part of the military to kind of be diving into your public access or your private sector or whatever it may be? So, I mean, yeah, you could be denied access. It's not a government ran site if I'm getting it correctly. But also, I want to know what you guys think about this, because this is really fascinating. The fact that there's more memos, there's more things coming out that's kind of building Bob Lazar's story to be true here. And I want it to be true. It is such a fascinating story. It is a remarkable story. And the fact that, yeah, his story has changed a teensy bit over the years, as anybody's story would. But for the most part, it has really just stayed the same. And like I said, I would love to do the full hour and a half, 2-hour discussion with Joe Rogan and these guys on Supernatural Saturdays, if you're willing to stick through it with me. And heck, if I get 10 of you guys willing to do it, I will do it. Again, I love hanging out with y'all. I love spending time. We'll be in a live chat with each other. We'll discuss things, but let me know what you think here. Do you think Bob Lazar is telling the truth? Do you think his story's legit? Let me know in the comment section.
A leak. Now, everything said in that document, I don't know.
What are you talking about? What is said in that document specifically?
It's between a scientist and an admiral that are sitting and they're having a meeting, and they're talking about the search for the UFO subject, the search to get special access program access to all of these different things like reverse engineering programs. So in this document, they talk about it. I believe that this document, the person that went was employed by Robert Bigelow, one of the guys that has a couple of orbiting satellites and all that stuff.
He's the guy who owns Skinwalker Ranch.
No, he's not. No? He was the guy that owns Skinwalker.
Okay.
Yeah, he used to own it. There's a new owner, and I interviewed him for my other film, but there's a new owner, and you'll be hearing a lot more about that soon. But there's stuff that you'll be hearing about Skinwalker Ranch soon because there's a new owner. Anyway, the whole point of this insertion here is just that document kind of validates a lot of this idea Bob just said, that they make a little progress, then they can't go anywhere. They tuck it away, and then they bring it back out 10 years later and start working on it. What is the limiting factor? I think Bob should speak on this, but it's the material science.
It's really where physics is. So I can see them doing that. I mean, I didn't have any information on that, but I think what George uncovered is probably accurate, that we try and do what we can, and once we reach a roadblock going, we really can't figure it out, it's just friggin' put the thing away, wait for science to catch up, and a decade later, let's take the project out again and see, all right, now where can we go?
But there's got to be someone who remains informed, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you've got your scientists like you and Barry. You got your people that you compartmentalize. You got these people working on
these projects. Has to be some people that know everything.
You've got security, and then someone's going to be on the outside saying, hey, we need people to guard this building. Don't let anybody in for 10 years.
I think a lot of that is private industry, and I think that's how they keep it. Yeah, I think that's how they because the government is just so leaky. I think that's kind of what they're doing.
That's what the document kind of proves. You just articulated that it is in control of private industry.
What private industry? Some aerospace company, something?
I don't know.
Yeah, the admiral wouldn't name it in the in the conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, but I'm confused, and I hope one of you guys are kind of following along here and understanding this, because there's usually I understand that private industry could be hired by government contracts and work with the government to move certain projects forward or develop certain weaponry. Is that what they're talking about here? Is that the government has these craft and they're contracting out private industry to work on these crafts, which is kind of what I'm thinking and understanding from this conversation, because Bob Lazar was in private industry. He was contracted out to work on this craft. He exposed what was going on, which is kind of what the beginning of the conversation was about, of he wished he didn't have necessarily exposed it because he would still get to be able to work on this fascinating technology and these alien spacecraft that they found at crash sites and archaeological finds. So am I getting that correctly? Again, I rely on you guys a lot. In the comment section, let me know if I'm following suit here, that basically they're just contracting out private businesses, private contractors to basically unravel and unfold this, the physics, the technology, the science side of all of this. I want to make sure I'm just getting all this correct.
They still have these things, supposedly.
I would guess. I mean, I don't have any information on that.
Have you ever asked anyone that has any inkling of any idea of where they got them or how they got them?
No, but something must have been said to me from Barry, but it was just too long ago, and I can't quite remember what was said, but it just left a seed in my mind. I think at least one of them was part of an archaeological dig. So it's old. At least one of them is old. I don't know if it was the one I worked on, but I remember something to do with an archaeological dig.
Whoa.
So that means it's not just old, it's ancient.
That'd be a great Steven Spielberg movie.
Yeah,
Right?
as all of it would. Yeah.
Yeah.
that
as
tripped me
all-
out when he said that for the first time.
Yeah. That's a freak out right
Yeah.
there. Just a couple of dudes with some brushes looking for a Tyrannosaurus Rex bone. They
And-
hit metal.
And when did they find it? You know, that they have 9 of them.
Yeah.
Well, and how could we have not heard about that? What about the guys with the brushes? How could
Yeah.
you uncover something like that? And
Well, Joe's newspaper at home does. I mean, they said it on that first day.
Oh, you mean the Roswell
Yeah,
Daily
yeah, the
Record?
one you told me. Yeah.
I have a cover. What is this here, Jamie?
This is the document, but I had to do some digging to find it.
Yes, it's just kind of, yeah, so this is where they meet at EG&G, and this is Admiral Wilson, and there's a lot more coming out. Now, I want to be clear, George didn't put this out. He didn't leak this out to anybody. This is, I can tell you how
Who
I...
recorded this
Let's just look at this real quick. 1010. I mean, this. Here's the thing. And I'm not trying to like burst anybody's bubble. This could easily just have been done on a typewriter or Word doc, right? And you just took a photocopy of it, right? Throw it in the printer, and get it done. But fascinating nonetheless. Could it be real? Absolutely. Could it be fake? Absolutely.
conversation?
So this was an employee of, at the time, Robert Bigelow.
And this is in 2002?
Right. Do you remember when he had that government contract called OSAP the world all knows about now? And he had NIDS that studied the ranch. So that $22 million, everybody is saying it was for ATIP, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. The $22 million was for OSAP that was pushed through Congress, 3 congressmen, right? An astronaut. It was pushed through. And that's what that $22 million, by the way, they spend more money on Viagra every year than they do studying UFOs if it was just this program, which I think is funny.
They probably
In the
make a lot
military?
more money from Viagra
They
than
probably do.
from UFOs, too.
Well, you never know how it seeds into population. But anyway, this program, this is what was the mother program. So it got the $22 million. And really, it was to study Skinwalker Ranch. Oddly enough, that $22 million all was inspired by the phenomenon they were seeing at Skinwalker Ranch, because the scientists, they're seeing vehicles come through like a space in the sky.
Yeah, we went there. I went there
Right,
with Duncan.
yeah,
we interviewed a bunch of people that seemed full of shit, but a couple that didn't.
But
It was
the-
very, very interesting.
Totally. And if you look, I spent a lot of time in the area. I'm not talking about those stories. I'm saying there were scientists hired by the government, right, through Bigelow to study the ranch because they thought it was important. And, you know, whatever. The point is that $22 million was to study that. Then we have ATIP, which is like an auxiliary kind of program of military sightings, like Commander Fravers and that sort of thing. This document is just one of those things that has now come forward that through the Bigelow studies, it was government funded, and then it was personally funded and then government funded. It's just one of those things that kind of shakes you because you got this military guy who can't get access because of the private industry that's holding these non-terrestrial materials, that they can't study it. So that's the claim right now. Give it some time, let people dig more into this. It's fascinating, man.
Let me know what you think about this. Like I said, there is a full-length video that we could do on this whole thing, listening to Bob Lazar's story, how he got to work at, what was it, Sector 4 or something like that, and just the whole detailed outlook on what the heck that man went through. Let me know in the comment section below. Again, check out the poll in the community tab when we do upload that. Vote yes or no if that's something you want to do. As always, support the show by hitting that like and subscribe button. We got a lot of stuff coming out Sunday as well as the following week here. Folks, I will see you tomorrow here on The Bob Lazar Show.